Good morning and welcome to the Angel and Tina morning show. Super excited to have you all joining us here today. Tina, how are you doing today?
I'm doing fabulous. Got my little flowers on, my sun shining green. Just trying to get that happy, happy-go-lucky spirit today.
You're going for the happy-go-lucky spirit. I didn't get the memo. I'm in gray.
I know. Well, I woke up going, "What is today?" I'm losing. I feel like I'm losing my mind a little bit because I'm losing track of the days. Yesterday was June 15th.
Right. We are halfway. We are halfway through the year. We are halfway through the year, which is weird, right? Like it is going so fast. We are on this like speed train of all the things that we wanted to do, but it's super excited to have both of our guests joining us here today. Donna, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great today. It's a beautiful sunny day in Colorado. It's awesome.
Are you from Colorado?
No, I'm from the Northeast, New York, New Jersey, but I've been here for 20 years.
Oh, okay. And my favorite person of all time, I always joke with him that he's my favorite client. But to my other clients, he's really not.
We're all just chump change, right? When Andrew's in the room, right? She's like, oh, Andrew. Yeah, you all are great.
He's like such a great person. And like, he always used to tell me, Tina, you make everything easy. Thank you for making everything easy. And so what I did last year is I sent him an easy button. You know those staples, easy button? And it actually like makes a noise and everything.
It's the easy button. And what did you say, Andrew, when you got that? You're like, what I should have said was,
it's so easy.
You make everything like a pound of $20 bills or something.
Yeah, like I should have been like, you know what, I could use like a stack of hundreds, like or $1 million in non-denominated 20s or something like that. But
unmarked bills.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like Tina's like, do I call Andrew my favorite client or just the client with the largest book cover background? And one rolls off the tongue just more easily. So I'm not like, every other client is just as awesome. It's just I've got this huge book cover that's making me look a little better right now.
Andrew, I think the last time you were on the show, it was a pretty big background for your book cover, but this one seems like it's even bigger.
Yes, I've upgraded. I want to make sure that the cover actually extended from top of the screen to the bottom. So there's actually been 3 of these. And there, I love it. See, that's also looks good on camera, right? I'll take any kind of version I can get. But yeah, Angel, I was very intentional. I was like, I want a huge, like a massive one, because that way it's like you can't hide from it. And honestly, I think, the other one, it looked kind of cheesy because you saw like the extensions of the easel. And I remember making a post of this. There's a story behind this. Iterate. Sometimes you're going to like do stuff in a background or a video or something that you're not going to be happy with, but you can't be perfect in the moment. All you can do is do it and say, okay, I can improve on that, and just move forward. So I'm really grateful to be iterating, and who knows, by the time next time we talk, I'll have it sideways and it'll be like the whole background behind me. So we'll see where we escalate from there.
The whole screen. You'll have a step and repeat.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like I have my step and repeat behind me. And yeah, it'll just be that big. So is it a poster? Is it on an easel? What is it?
It's like I don't know the material. It's not cardboard. It's like kind of like a silicone thing. I bought it from Vistaprint.
Is it
you can just get like these massive things. Yeah, it's still hanging on the same easel that the old one was on, but because it's so big, you can't see the easel. But it really is like a post. I would try to move it right now, but it's so delicate, it would collapse everything.
Do you ever run into it, like get all excited and hit it with your hand?
Oh my God, like I'm very intentional. I can go this far back without worrying about anything. But yeah, it's like, it's cumbersome. It's a thing. But for the stuff I do on YouTube, I figure whenever I'm making a point, I'm making a decision, you could either be like, I'm not worried about being cheesy. I'm very upfront, like, no, I believe in this book. I believe in this message. So every time I'm talking, it's going to be up there. So it's a very intentional thing where I'm very proud to have the book represent me, which is why I have it so prominently. Anytime I do an appearance or an interview, whether I'm being interviewed or I'm interviewing other people.
So Andrew, it's so funny that because when you and I were talking back in the day, I had never got your book because first of all, he asked me, I sent him, some things like I always send my clients like, little gifts. And so I was like, oh my gosh, you need to send me a New York jersey. This was like in Christmas time, but he sent me like a box of what they called moon
Oh,
something
moon cookies or something like that.
cookies, and they were
Oh, the moon rock cookies?
Yes, the moon rock cookies. Yeah, moon rocks.
yes.
You
I mean,
must know Don Moore. Do you know Don Moore?
I don't, but I think I remember I might have heard it. I could be wrong. I might have heard it because of you, and I figured, well, then what's the fun surprise? It's like it'd be very familiar, but it's been such a blur since December. I think that's kind of how it played out.
Right,
Yeah,
'cause she
like, I
sends
got
the
this-
moon rock cookies.
yeah, and I got this big old huge box of moon rock cookies, and so I think it was a couple weeks ago. Two of my other clients, one of them sent me his book in the mail, and I was like, she was like, "Oh, you should see this book. He's such an amazing person." I'm like, "I'm the one who introduced you," and she was like, "Oh yeah, I forgot." And then that same week, someone else sent me a book, and I was like, "Well, now I have two," and
I
I
love it.
send them to my people all the time.
Now
Please thank both of those people. And I'll tell you, that's the goal is like, how can you get yourself out there so much that like people are mistakenly forgetting where they learned about it? That's really the goal. The goal is where it's so pervasive and people are so aware of it that it's thing. And I obviously take it as a very high compliment that one person, to say nothing of two, thought enough of the book to share it with you, because that's a huge vote of confidence when you're saying, okay, here's this thing, and I'm trusting the fact that if you spend your very valuable time on it, you're going to get something out of it.
I have heard so many people tell me that they've read this book, like just people, me talking to people, and they're like, "Oh, have you ever heard of this book, The Last Law of Attraction?" I'm like, "Oh yeah, I'm good friends with that guy. I know that guy." They're, "Oh my God, you need to read this book. Like, it will change your life."
Okay, so Tina, are you reading it?
I'm halfway through it.
Okay. Is it changing your life?
It has already changed my life because I know the author.
Already. She's like, already. All right. Okay. So Donna, you got, like, we talked a lot about Andrew's background, and he's got his book and various variations of it. And we love like seeing what version of it is up next, but you have a very specific style to your backdrop. Talk about what you've got going on behind you.
Behind me, well, this is my little logo for my company, Red Stiletto, Get to the Point, right? Which is public speaking for entrepreneurs.
So what is that made out of? Because it looks 3D.
It is. It's maybe about a 1/2 inch thick, and it's made out of a lightweight wood, and then it's covered in red and clear Swarovski crystals.
Oh,
Yeah, I found somebody on Etsy who made it.
wow. So
Yeah,
it's
she did a great job.
crystals. Like,
What's that?
you don't know that unless you ask
No.
her about it.
Yeah,
I
it's a
bet
little
that
hard
is
to see.
stunning in person.
Yeah,
Okay,
look,
Donna,
she did a great job.
Do you wear red bottoms when you're speaking?
I wear red shoes.
I have like two or three pair of red heels.
I have like 6 when I go in person.
Red heels? Yeah, I have like 200 pair of heels, but I have like 2 or 3 pair of red heels.
Yeah.
Red heels.
I've
Do
got
you wear?
sandals, I've got shoes, I've got boots.
She's like, I'm all about the brand, right? I wear it, I walk it. That is a gorgeous piece of your logo to have it in the crystals like that. I bet that is, yeah, I bet that's really pretty. And how about the other pieces, the flowers?
Merely decorative.
Okay.
This is a corner. I don't know if you can tell, right?
Oh no,
There.
I couldn't.
See how these are like on an angle? And
Yeah.
then these are
Oh,
kind of
because
flat,
it's a
'cause
corner.
And I'm really close. This way I can, it's a small room, so I'm in the power position in the room. So I can.
In the corner. I would have never thought to put the desk in the corner behind me.
That's where mine is. Mine's in the corner of my room.
Okay.
But I mean, so many people, all you need is a little corner. There's not much space back here,
Mhm.
but that's all you need. You don't need all this space. I have a little tiny corner and it looks so big.
And it looks so big. How about you, Andrew? Well, how big is your space?
My space can be a little bit cramped in because it's so funny. As we were saying this, I had to unmute myself. There's some really loud, obnoxious yard work going on. So strategically, I put myself as far away from neighbor noises as possible. So I'm like, you can't tell right now, but it's you probably tell by the back. It's a strategically condensed space because it helps me make sure that I can put out content. 99 times out of 100 is pretty good, but today it's been a little bit challenging.
Now you live in Yonkers, right?
Yeah, well, I'm in Yonkers and Queens. I'm going like back and forth, and because Queens is its own little challenges, Yonkers is actually quieter, even when things get a bit crazy. So Queens
Okay.
has a very weird neighbor who practices music with who knows what. And believe it or not to be a negative Nelly about the whole thing, but I'd almost dig it if they were on rhythm, but it's like off rhythm. So it like you hear that stuff while you're trying to
If you're
concentrate or
Andrew's
trying to come up with an
neighbor,
idea.
you know,
It just
can you just make the rhythm a little bit better so at least he has a little bit of music in the background?
Right?
yeah. Like there's an old I don't know if you ever saw The Simpsons, this old episode where Chief Wiggum they're about to like do like riot control or something, and they're asking like if the attack dogs are ready. And he's like, yeah, I've been poking them and prodding them and singing off key. He's like, me moo me, and then they open up the thing and the dogs like flip out and they go over them. And I think of like Chief Wiggum torturing the dogs by being off key
By being
whenever
off
that
key.
music comes in. So yeah,
My
strategically. I'm sorry,
my
Jan.
old neighbor used to teach drum lessons. So he was a drum instructor. And so we would have, these new drummers, right? You could hear that, but he would have,
What's that noise?
right? So sometimes it was noise, but most of the time it was just really awesome, right? To have a
Mm.
drummer next door and the music that they were playing. And he was on key, right? Like he was really talented and it was really cool. It was
And
really cool to
remember
have
when you
that.
first moved to Florida, I think you were at your girl's house, but you might have been at the new house, and you were like, "Oh my gosh, another person is mowing the yard!" Like it was for like 2 weeks, every single day, somebody was.
Here is non-stop. Like there is always some landscaping noise going on in the neighborhood. I would
She's like,
love
"Did
to
you
work
hear
outside.
that? They're mowing the yard," and I was
They're
like,
mowing the lawn, they're weed whacking, I mean, it is like everywhere all morning. And then, not to be negative, Millie, right? As Andrew said, I have a neighbor across the pond because we have a little pond behind us. On Sunday morning, at 9 a.m. on Sunday morning for 3 Sundays in a row. And I'm thinking that's not neighborly. He'd get out with his little weed whacker thing. I'm like, it's Sunday. I don't know.
Wait,
Isn't
you
there
could
like
hear
some?
that from across the pond?
He was like, it's just like right there.
Oh,
Yes. Because we open up our doors and we'd have coffee in the morning, or you want to be out there and you're having like your little coffee and then my other neighbor would always be mowing his lawn right when we sit down to have dinner. I'm like, I think he's waiting for us to sit down to have dinner.
are they
And
down,
let's,
yet? Are they down yet?
got
When-
like-
let's go mow the
He's got
lawn.
binoculars, like, okay, they're eating dinner, they're relaxing.
Yeah.
Start it up right now.
Go and do it. Yeah. Yeah. The amount of lawn tools and stuff that we are
Well,
hearing.
you're in Florida, so everybody in Florida has to have their yard like immaculate. I'm surprised Jay's not out there like.
Right. Well, you can't really see that. You can't really see them. You can just hear all of the equipment and stuff. But I do think it's really cool, like how we have adjusted and we now all have our own production studios. And when I was in radio, if we wanted to go into a live location, right, we'd have our studio with all the production equipment. And if we were going to do a production like live on location, go out to an event, we would have to go out. We'd have to send our engineer the day before. They'd run all this, cables and lines and, stacks of equipment and speakers and all this stuff, right? And we'd come in and we have to like all this equipment. And now, right, we all have a studio, right, in our own home, a corner, right, of our office. Yeah, we're doing it.
We have our mic, we have our lights, our ring lights, and we got our background.
It is pretty impressive. It is pretty impressive, the type of production that we can do and that we are doing, and how the pandemic really opened up people's minds to be more virtual. Yeah. Right? It's okay to meet in person. I remember when the teledoc industry was trying to get off the ground, 5-7 years ago, right? You could just call in to your doctor and you didn't have to go visit. And people are like, oh no, we got to go in person. And now, right, here's a whole industry of, I don't have to go. I can just do it from here. Score, right?
It's so funny. I don't ever leave the house. Like I have my groceries delivered. The only time I leave is to go get my meals. I don't ever leave, like ever.
I went to the store yesterday. Do you guys do sparkling water? Do you guys drink sparkling water? Do you guys
I
like?
don't like
It's like
sparkling
Donna
water.
does. I don't, but maybe I should.
We make our own even.
Do you? I got this bottle. I was at Walmart and I was picking up like some toilet paper and Kleenex and stuff, right? But I found this sparkling water and it's cherry limeade. Do you guys like cherry limeade?
I love cherry limeade.
Okay, you know how like the sparkling waters, like they kind of sort of have a hint, like a little infused of whatever the flavor is. It's not ever this
Is it
oh,
aha?
is so yummy.
Is it
It is.
aha water?
I don't know. It was in a bottle. It was in a bottle. It was 52 cents. It was 52 cents for this bottle of cherry limeade sparkling water.
And how many
And-
did you get?
Well, I didn't know if I was gonna like it, right? So I only bought the one, but I came home. I'm gonna have to show it to you guys because if you like cherry limeade, this is the bomb diggity. Right?
Yeah, you're gonna have to send me a little picture.
I will send you guys. I'll post a picture. I'll post a link in the thing. But you know, I was like, my kids came home like, and it smells like cherry limeade. Right? You know, every now and then you just kind of land on something, right? I'm like, oh, I'll just grab this, right? Because I like a little sparkling water sometimes just for a change from like still water, right? And yeah, it is so yummy. It is so yummy. So
Okay, so I have a question for our audience real quick. Okay, so if you are going to a place, like if you're going to a city or whatever, would you text the main people in that city and say, hey, I'm here, I'm here, but I can't see you, like, I just wanted to let you know I'm here, but I'm busy. Like, would you send out a text? So like, if I was going to Orlando, would it be okay for me, or would it be etiquette of me to send a text saying, hey, Angel, I'm coming to Orlando. I just wanted to let you know I'm here. And she says, oh, well, I want to, let's get together. I'm like, oh, well, I don't have time to get together with you. I just wanted to let you know I was here.
you make it sound like I was like just so harsh to these people because this is not a fictitious scenario. This is
Get that feeling.
But it said it was a fictitious scenario.
Angel went to Denver and Angel went to Texas. And I let some people know when I was in Denver, I'm here. And then I let some people know I'm in Texas. But I just was saying, hey, I just wanted you to know. But I went to Texas. I was out 24 hours later, right? Like it was so fast. And I texted like, oh, hey, I've got, and even Donna's like, let's do brunch. I'm like, I would love to, but I'm leaving town already. Right. And so, yeah, apparently that is like evil. Apparently I am like this evil person, but I want you to know, I get a text yesterday and this happens to me. And I think this is why I thought no big deal. She's like, hey, this was yesterday at 5:00. I'm in Orlando. Family and I just got back from dinner. I'm going to I've got some work to do and then I'm going to rest. Just touching base. I'll see you when we're in Chicago. And I was like, she's in Orlando.
Yeah. So she texts me, see, I'm not the only weird person.
I know, only dogs, right? Okay, but okay, so that is a scenario. If you go to a town, wouldn't you rather me text you to say I'm in town versus you just see it on social media? Like you didn't even tell me or do you have to see everybody or do you not? Like, what is the protocol? Because
what's the proper etiquette?
I am a neophyte in this area. Donna, what do you think?
I think I would let people know that I wanted to know, or that I wanted to know that I was around, probably.
Even if but you can't see them.
That's a tough call. That's a tough call. If I can't see them, I can't see
like
them.
You're completely
I
booked.
feel like that would be like a tease. Like that would be like they on the other end, they might be wondering, well, why'd she bother?
That was the feeling. That was the feeling. Why'd she even tell me if she can't even come and see me? Andrew,
Yeah.
what do you think?
Well, I'm a little more introverted in that way, where I'm hesitant to put it out there because I know people will be like, oh, let's do X, Y, Z, and then I'll feel bad about saying no about it. But by that same token, like I know you're you're very this bright personality where you're just like sharing with people like, hey, I'm here. So obviously you're not thinking you're going to offend or disappoint people. You're just like, you're being very open and telling your life story and seeing what's up. So for me personally, I'm like, no, just because I know I don't want to have to say no to people, because with how crazy and how busy I am, I say no so often already. So I'm very hesitant just in that way.
So if I go to Yonkers and you find out that I was in Yonkers and I didn't say nothing to you, you wouldn't care?
I'll be like, what the hell? Come on. But more just to rub it in your face. Now, like, it's funny you say that, all kidding aside. Like me, again, I have a very different personality about these things, but that stuff doesn't offend me, because we always see the world for others the way we see the world for ourselves. So with how busy I am, I almost make this projection and this assumption that other people are just as busy. For all I know, they could be way busier or not as busy, but because we as humans are making that projection, I'm like, some people, I have friends where we don't talk for 5 years, and it's not that we're mad at each other, we're so busy, but when we finally reconnect, it's like a no hard feelings thing. It's like, I'm not mad that you didn't talk to me or I didn't talk to you, we were just so busy we never got it going. Again, I'm projecting from my own point of view, so because this stuff doesn't bother me, I'm not bothered by someone else doing the same thing.
Now, for me, I would think if somebody texted me and said, hey, I'm in Charlotte, I just wanted to let you know, yada, yada, I would be like, oh, she's texting me because she wants to see me. I'm like, oh, well, let me know. We'll get lunch or we get brunch. Let me know where you're here. And I'll take you somewhere. Oh, well, I don't have time for you. I just wanted to let you know.
Okay. So if I go to North Carolina,
not what Angel said.
yeah. So if I go to North Carolina and I'm only going to be there.
If you go to North Carolina, you don't say nothing to me, I'm going to be mad at you. Well, because you're my co-host. It's not like we're like acquaintances.
But there's a deeper mad in there. It's like, if you come and don't tell me and don't hang out, then I'm mad, because you gotta go the full boat.
So I have to let you know that I'm coming, and I have to make time to see you. And like, I have to adjust it. Yeah. She's like, yeah.
I'm going to Orlando in August, and I've already told you I was going, and told you I was going to hang out with you, and told you I was going to stay with you for a day.
Okay, so see, there's that. Like, okay, so do I go and say, okay, Donna, I'm going to be in Denver. Like, I've got, like, we're going to do lunch and we're going to hang out and I'm going to stay with you and you're like, I have a life. Like, you just got here yesterday. I already had plans. Wait, where's the?
I'm giving you a 2.5 month.
Yeah, you did. Now you gave me lots of notice. I know you're coming.
Little planning.
When I texted our friend in Dallas, I was already in Dallas, and I was like talking to somebody. I'm like, hey, I know this person. I should say hey, and I did it to like 3 people. I'm like, I just wanted to, just thinking of you. I'm in town really quick. I'm headed out. I've just got this, but just thinking of you because I'm in your state. But apparently they're like, yeah, Angel didn't have time for us. Angel called and like, I don't even know why she called. And
but see, if I think it would be different. If it's just an acquaintance, it's probably different. I don't know if I would text an acquaintance, or even if it was a little bit more than acquaintance, I don't think I would text. But like, if I'm like really good friends with you, like if I went down to Orlando next week, you would have already known, hey, I'm coming to Orlando. What day is good? Let's hang out and let's have lunch. I want to see you.
And people come to Orlando all the time and they're like, hey, Angel, like we're coming to Orlando, but I don't see them. Yeah. Like they don't necessarily stop by, or like we don't visit. Like they have an agenda. Like they're here. They have an agenda. They've got their thing. If like, then we actually had some friends who all their plans canceled. They're like, do you want to get together? I'm like, hey, we can get together. I don't know. It was just, I didn't know I was given, like, apparently this is like the rudest thing in the world that I could have done.
I don't think I've ever had anybody. I don't think I've ever had anybody just say, hey, I'm coming to, Atlanta. Yeah,
I was so heartbroken. When Tina told me, she's like, Angel, that was so like, what? And I'm like, that was bad? Oh my gosh. Like I was me. Oh, like I thought it better than I text them, then they just see it on social media and I didn't let them know.
Okay. So Angel, if I showed up in Orlando on Friday, so tomorrow, if I showed up in Orlando, I'm taking pictures in Disney, and you're like, what the heck? You didn't even tell me you were coming down here.
I would want to know you were here.
But would you want to see me too?
I don't know. This is all brand new, right? This is all like brand new territory.
You?
And
I think we should take this to a new level. I mean, for example, I think everyone that you know in New York that's always wanted to go to the Statue of Liberty with you, then you show up on social media on the Statue of Liberty without them just to mess with them. Like that, let's take it to a high level here. If we're gonna do this, let's do this big.
Everybody I know in New York, I'm going to Statue of Liberty on Saturday at 2 p.m. If you want to see me, I'll be there.
that's where I'll be. And if you want to see me,
P.S. You're not invited.
right? Yeah, I'm not inviting you, but this is where I'll be.
Well, I'd
All right.
rather get a message that says what you said, like, oh, hey, just thinking of you. I'm in the area. I won't have time to get together. Like that I can see, but I've gotten messages it's like, oh, I was just in Denver. I'm like, you were just in Denver? You didn't let me know. And then, but they don't say anything more, right? I was just in Denver. Oh, well, oh, but I was only at the airport changing flights. Like, does that count?
That doesn't count.
Angel didn't say that. She just said that
No.
in Dallas,
Right.
Dallas was just thinking of you.
Right.
Yeah, I will.
I don't even know what the exact
So
word was.
there's also a dishonest out that you can take. And the dishonest out is you go, you show up, and you text them on the end saying, hey, I was thinking about surprising you, but my trip got cut short. So there you've covered all your bases, but you've also lied to them.
Oh, you're good, Andrew. Now I
Okay,
know if you ever tell me that, Andrew.
Now, yeah, I can't tell you.
say that again. Say that again.
You say, hey, I was in town. I was thinking about surprising you, but my trip got cut short, but I at least want to text you and say hi.
Angel, make sure you record it on your phone. So you
I know, right? Yeah, I did say, I'm like, hello, gorgeous. I just wanted to say hello. I'm in town briefly, just visiting this company today and then heading out tomorrow. And she's like, maybe we connect while you're here. Would love to see you. And here's what I said. I would really love to see you too, but I'm just here so briefly. I'm heading back home. It was a really quick trip. And then like I was nice about it.
You were.
Well, it was a nice rejection. But and rejection isn't taken, it isn't the perspective of you, it's the perspective of the person there. And it's not, I'm not saying who's right or wrong. I'm saying everyone's always going to have their own viewpoint and their own visceral experience of a yes or a no in any kind of circumstance.
I will tell you now, like I have a little PTSD about going traveling. Like, who am I gonna tell? How am I going to meet up with
9
them?
o'clock? She's like, see.
You know, I got this message yesterday. I sent it to Tina. I'm like, I get them too, right? It's so like, I just thought it was normal. All right. So enough about, this, really serious issue that we've had to cover today. We do want to get to know our guests just a little bit better. Donna, give us just a little backstory about you and what you're doing over at Red Stiletto, how you came to be in this fabulous space.
I love that name.
Let's see. So my original career, I was a hairdresser in high-end hair salons, and I just love appearances and fashion and beauty. And so I pull that in because I think appearances and speaking are important. And I was very involved in a personal growth and development company for many years. And so that's, really all about expression and communication and connection and people. So I pull that in because that all matters when you're public speaking as an entrepreneur. And I was also very much involved in Toastmasters for many, many years. So I pull that in, I pull it all in. And I'm also NLP, so it's neuro-linguistic programming. I'm a practitioner, trained practitioner. So that's more about like a fancy way of saying how you talk to yourself, which translates how you speak to others and how you communicate to yourself and others. Let's see, I'm in the National Speakers Association. And so I just pull, and I learn a lot from them about speaking and the world of the business of speaking. So I pull all that together. And I have a program called Show Up, Speak Up, and Get What You Want. And I work with people one-to-one also. And because I say public speaking as an entrepreneur is the best way to get known, is the best way to get out there, be more visible, get seen as an authority, an expert in your field. So it just all came from my experience.
Speak up, show up. What is it called?
Show up, speak up, and get what you want.
Oh, I love it.
Good title, right? Like boom, boom, boom. Like show up, speak up, right? And you do, right? We have to show up. We have to speak up. If we want to get what we want, we gotta show up and speak up about it. So that's beautiful, Donna.
Yeah, and we have to stop pretending that we don't want something, right? We're in business. We want something. We want to help people. We want to make money, and we want to have the life we want. We want something.
I think it all starts with how you talk to yourself too, and you really have to like forced that habit of the way you talk to yourself all the time. And I find myself doing that all the time. Like, okay, Tina, stop going down that rabbit hole and come over here. I love the two together today because Andrew, you talk about this too.
Yeah, first of all, I love Red Stittle. I think that's a great name. And, you know, obviously it's like, for me, you can tell by the title of my book, it's all about capturing the imagination in the name and just in all the wording that you do. And we differ, like, you know, our styles and our approaches. I mean, Donna and I, just that, you know, for me, I deliver my content through a book and through a YouTube channel, but it is all about, you know, giving people that information, that content that they will hopefully then use for themselves to take things to the next level. So for me, as anyone that's seen me on the show before, I'm very much attached to just the, you know, what I'm doing, the content I'm producing in and around the last Law of Attraction book you'll ever need to read. And it's been a very interesting whirlwind since I published it in November 2019. And I'm still having a great time, and I'm building the YouTube channel around it a lot more. So I'm happy with all the different steps that I continue to make through it, and excited with the people I'm helping.
So give us a little background, Andrew. How did you end up writing the last Law of Attraction book you'll ever need to read?
What a great title that is.
Thank you. Yeah, so thank you. Let's see if I can do the fast version of this, because I learned about Law of Attraction back in 2004. And back then, there was just me as a struggling entrepreneur looking for answers. So Law of Attraction was just one of many modalities. And for me, it was very hit and miss. It was very inconsistent. I would find out later it was me who was being inconsistent, because I had a really bad week in 2008 where I lost my first business and my girlfriend of 3 years all in the same week. And I had to basically look in the mirror and be like, okay, I'm not doing something right here. Something needs to change. And I had this weird epiphany, this weird realization, and this simultaneous moment of stubbornness and indignation where it's like, well, whenever I did that Law of Attraction stuff and didn't actually stop, it was actually working. So I got this moment where, like, I don't care what happens, when it happens, why it happens, how it happens. I'm going to go all in with this thing, which is really just a fancy way of saying all in of 5 or 10 minutes a day of gratitude or visualization processes. Since, again, when I did use that, things would happen. Only this time I was upset enough about where I was in my life that I was not going to stop. Whether things were getting better or worse, I did not care. And when I made that decision, it's almost like a movie, everything changed. Like 2 weeks later, I felt better, which is saying a lot with a broken heart. 3 months later, I'm in a brand new relationship, a way healthier relationship. 4 months later, I'm making more money than at any point in my life before then. And 6 months later, everything's different. I'm in the best shape of my life. I'm happy. I'm fulfilled. Everything's working. And I learned that this thing works if you work it. Call it the Law of Attraction, call it whatever you want. But it wasn't until like 11 years later that I wanted to do a new business. And I said, listen, what can I do where, to be candid, I'm not going to get bored engaging with my customers, where I'm going to be excited when they write in a question or write in an email and I can actually have a conversation with them. And I'm like, okay, well, maybe it's finally time to talk about this Law of Attraction thing and how it impacted my life. But there's 1,000 books out there. Can I give myself permission, and can I take a path where I'm actually doing something different in the space that no one's seen before? And that was the goal and the vision of the book and the content around it. And here we are. And again, like, the whole point, to make a long story longer, this is about, you know, explaining the Law of Attraction in a user-friendly way, providing methods in a user-friendly way, but also holding up a mirror to people, explaining their psychology to them so that they can understand why they've tried this in the past. They've gotten excited, they've gotten results, and they've still stopped. I want to get people to stop stopping so they can get consistent, get results, and then learn through, not through me or my book, but through their own life experience, that this actually does work. And from that point on, be empowered to do it whenever they want to moving forward.
So you literally just changed your life just by using 10 minutes a day.
Yeah, so 5 or 10 minutes. And it's a thing where I didn't just sit on my couch and things happened, but I was inspired to action. I stopped taking lackful action and started taking inspired action. I started getting good ideas. I started, you know, it's like, you still got to go on that dating web. This was pre-dating apps. So you still got to get on that dating website. You still got to make your profile, but you're going to be inspired to write something in a certain way. I lost 25 pounds in a 7-week period. In the middle of all that, I was working out with Sensei, but I wasn't trying to lose weight. I was just trying to feel better about myself. And it was only someone mentioned at a party that obviously I've gained a little weight since. They're like, your jaw's looking so chiseled, dude. What's going on? And I'm like, okay, now I'm curious. And that's when I hopped on the scale and I realized I lost 25 pounds. I wasn't trying to do it. I was just going with the flow. I was doing these methods. I was being grateful. and it was carrying a momentum where all these things were clicking into place, some of which were within my control and some of which were not, but it was really fueled by that foundation of gratitude and positive visualization.
I know like so many people are hearing, like between the two of you, like show up, right? You know, speak up, say what you want, put it out there. And you know, even I was chatting with somebody, but it was like, well, what do you want? Like, what do you want the outcome to be? You know, I'm worried about this, I'm worried about that. I'm like, well, what do you want the outcome to be? Because if you don't know and you're not clear, then of course you're going to send mixed messages and you're not going to be happy and fulfilled because you're getting all of this other info, like all these other opportunities or going all these different directions. Like we have to be. Did we have that conversation?
Oh. It was Tina who was doing this. I had to set her straight, and set her straight I did.
Apparently we have a lot of setting each other straight happening behind the scenes this week, right? Right? But being super clear about what's important to you and what you want. But even what you said, Andrew, you said take inspired action. Donna, you said show up. Like these are like, you have to step into it. You have to walk in those shoes, right? Like you set it up and you have to go forward and do it consistently. You didn't just show up, Andrew, for a couple of days. You said, 3 months later, it was this, and 4 months later, and 6 months. That meant you were doing this every day.
Oh yeah, there was no breaks. There was no breaks. And because again, I was fueled and upset enough by where I had been in my life and looking back. So for me, I don't think I've ever articulated this before. I look back on how I lost my business and my girlfriend within 3 days of one another. It's like, I learned about this thing 4 years before that. If only I had been, consistent and disciplined enough to do it back then, I would have never have gone through that. Now there's no regrets. I went through it. Now it's time to go from there. It's just like now knowing what I went through, what I could have avoided, what am I now avoiding that I'll never even know I'm avoiding by continuing to go down this path? I think that's the beauty of this thing, whether, it's through Donna's lens or my lens or anyone else's lens. The cool thing is when you take these positive actions, there are bad things that you will avoid that you'll never know you've avoided because you're never even in the vicinity of them, whether you're speaking about that from a vibrational standpoint or an intellectual standpoint or a physical standpoint. And that's the really cool thing. The really cool thing is you are bypassing so much negativity just by leaning in a more positive, more empowering vibe.
Andrew, it's such an amazing thing because it's a free thing, like gratitude and changing your vibration and your visualization process, all of that is free for you to do. And it takes 15 minutes a day or, 5 minutes a day for you to write down things that you're grateful for, to go through a visualization process and do it right. And to put it in your head for 15 minutes a day, that's going to change your life. And it's free. And that's one of the things that, holds so many people back from their greatness.
Yeah. And you said something really important there. When it is free, we don't value it for some reason. We're like, oh, if I didn't have to pay for it, we're just not holding it up on a pedestal, which is a very interesting thing, because if people only realize, air is free, and that's pretty important, right? There are free things that you still got to say, okay, these are very important. I should really adhere to them. So yeah, I couldn't agree more. You raised a really good point there.
Yeah.
Donna, when people come, right, when they hear about what you do, right, show up, speak up, and get what you want, what are some things that I don't know, they've been kind of holding back on? They're like, I need to show up for this, or I need to speak up about this. Like, what are some of the things you help them overcome?
Well, I like to, people have a lot of concerns about what do I do with my hands, which I think is really funny because that's sort of the least of it, right? The answer is nothing. Just let's see. But
you're from New York or New Jersey, and you talk a lot with your hands.
Like, I'm Italian, hey, so yeah, so I'm guilty. And I had to learn how to stop doing that.
Same.
But I like to say that public speaking is an inside job, because it's all really, yes, there's what you say, and people are also very concerned about what they say and how they say it. But I'm thinking of one of my clients who, she was doing such a great job, and she would have to pitch these board of directors and these neighborhood associations for building low income housing for, the company she works for. she's doing great. She had like in 2 years that she's worked for this, like one say no, right? But her experience of herself is that she doesn't feel confident. She doesn't feel good about herself. She wants to do better. She wants to do more. And that's where we have to work. Yes, you can learn what to do and how to do it, but you also have to manage your mind. It's very two-headed.
I think that mindset is I mean, we're talking about mindset and personal development all today, right? And so many entrepreneurs, so many, authors, coaches come on the show, and we ask them a question, what is one thing that you wish you knew now that you wish you knew back then? And I would think, Angel, like 90% of the people say mindset and personal development. Like, I wish I would have, got my mind right, or, put my mind around things quicker.
Well, you see it. It's easier to see in the rear view, right? I think, when you're going forward and, well, what is the thing? Like, give me the checklist, give me the to-do list. Like, you look at all the magazines, right? 5 things to do today to do this, right? We're looking for, what can I check off? What can I physically do? But you get to a place where you've done it so much, right? And maybe it's, getting fit or building your business or whatever. Like, you've done the things and it's still not happening. You're losing your girlfriend, you're losing your job, right? These other things are still, and you realize, all right, I can do the things, but until I get this inside job taken care of, I will just, repeat this cycle over and over again.
And I had a conversation earlier this week with a girlfriend of mine, and her and I were both saying that social media, and I love social media. That's how I get my business. It's how we're here on the Angel and Tina morning show. But it's so misconceiving, because you see everybody's perfect life on social media, and their perfect marriage and their perfect kids and, whatever. And I was talking to a girlfriend of mine, and she had just posted a picture of her laying by the pool, and she was like, residual income, it rocks, I can lay by the pool. And she was like, little did they know, I just got into a real bad fight with my husband last night. I told him whatever, and I left and I went and stayed with my girlfriend. And I was like, oh, like, here I am going, dang, I wish I had her life. And we don't see the stuff that people, that we're seeing everything on social media, and we're that comparison, that, oh, I'm not at her stage and I'm not at her stage, and oh, I wish I had that. No, I wish, but you don't see everything that happens in that back end, all the mindset and the personal development, everything, all the hard stuff that you do. You're not going to put a picture of you yelling at your kids and screaming at your kids, and your kids are screaming and your kids are crying and they're running out in the street. You're going to put that little picture of them going on social media, right? Like, you're not going to say that. And I think we need to just be a little bit more honest on social media, and be a little bit more real on social media, and let people know.
No, you start putting it out there. I'm in town, but I can't see you.
But I can't. I'm in town, but I can't really see you because I'm so busy.
So there's got to be careful about what you put out there, right? Okay, so Andrew, what exciting things are you working on now? What's coming up?
So I'm not giving the number yet, but if anyone watches my YouTube channel, they're going to find I'm posting a lot. Mm-hmm. And when the time is right to reveal how much I'm posting and why I'm doing it, there's a method to my madness. Like, everything I'm doing, I'm making it a teachable moment and hopefully something that'll help people. But if people start paying attention, there's going to be a lot of content this summer. So I'm really excited by that. 95% of my days now are devoted towards that. And so far the feedback's really good. So I'm not going to complain. I'm just going to keep moving forward. I realize that perfectionism is the enemy of creation. So I'm not worrying about the fact that none of the videos are perfect. I'm just moving forward and moving upward and onward with it. So for me, the big thing is all the content that I've got planned for the summer that I'm going to continue pumping out for people.
And how can they start watching you on YouTube? What is your YouTube channel?
Thank you for asking. Really easy. It's just youtube.com/Andrew Cap, KAP.
Andrew Cap, right? All sorts of fun content. And you know what? I think that, right, we want to be findable, right? Where people can find us and then binge watch all of our stuff, right? And so, yeah, I love what you're doing, Andrew. And how many reviews do we have?
Well, nice milestone.
On the show, he had just hit 1,000.
Right.
Yeah,
Well, he
yeah.
was, yeah. I think he was trying to get to 1,000, wasn't it? The last time you were on our
It was
show.
Yeah,
like he was like 100 away or something like that. He was like right at that cusp.
Yeah, I was on the cusp. I was trying to make it work. Happy to say right now, in terms of the Amazon user site, 1,700 plus user ratings and reviews. Obviously, there's also global ones. There's also Audible ones. And it's so funny because you throw that out there, but like I really like every single day, I'm very intentional about this. I stop and I think about those. Like that is a unique individual soul who took time out of their busy day to leave those thoughts, to leave that feedback. That's no small thing, and it's even my brain right now. I had a really funny joke to throw in there, but I don't want to throw in the joke because it is a serious thing. It's so, and it was a funny joke too, but it really is something where I'm so.
You gotta tell us now.
All right, so the joke is they could have been visiting their friends out of town instead of just texting them and going someplace else, but instead they were leaving that review. But all kidding aside, like that's it really is a big deal. And also, like, I've passed 2,000 YouTube subscribers. Some people be like, oh, I want 1 million. Like, okay, you know what? Be grateful for the 2,000 you have right now, because that's seriously unique individual people who are choosing to click the subscribe button and taking time out of their busy, important day to consume that content. So even when I do joke, I don't take any of it lightly.
Instead of me texting my friends when I'm in town, I'm going to leave a review.
There you go. See, right? Actually text them, be like, I could have visited you right now, but instead I had to leave this review.
Check out this book.
Blame Andrew. It's Andrew's fault. You can't be mad at me. It's Andrew's fault. PS. Check it out. LastLawofAttractionBook.com.
What I like about your reviews is that you go in there and then respond to each and every one of them.
Amazon discontinued the functionality, but before they're doing that, so actually little side tip for authors out there, you can't do it anymore. But think about the mentality, because when you think about the mentality behind that, then that will give you ideas of how you can really think and engage your reviewers. When Amazon had that functionality and people would post reviews, I didn't just like click and say thanks. I actually read their review and responded to it individually, because who wouldn't? Like, if you've got a book out there and you're really proud of it and someone's leaving you a 5-star review, and by the way, nothing wrong with anyone that just says, hey, honey, come check this out and bask in it. But I'm saying, why not also give that person props and respect and gratitude and say, thank you for leaving that. Here are my thoughts, and, awesome. I appreciate you. So if Amazon had that functionality again, I'd be back at it. But right now, so far, they've discontinued it.
Oh.
All right, Donna, what exciting things are you working on? How can people plug in with you?
Let's see. Well, I am working on a book, and no surprise, it's called Public Speaking for Entrepreneurs, How to Show Up, Speak Up, and Get What You Want for Your Business and Your Life. And the course, Show Up, Speak Up, and Get What You Want, is going to be launched this summer as well. So all that, it's a lot happening all at once.
Right. And you just put together a great little PDF, some speaking tips for people who are speaking from stage. Can we put that post in the link in the comments, right?
It's for speaking anywhere, because there are many things that are universal, whether you're speaking live or virtually. Do you want me to put it where then?
You're going to put it in the Facebook comments. So when we get done with the show, put it in the,
Okay.
go in there and put it in the Facebook comments, but you can grab that freebie if you click on that link. So just wait for that link to come through. You guys can grab that freebie. What a great tip source, right? For all of us.
How do people follow you, Donna? How can people connect with you?
My website is probably the best. It's right now it's donnariccardo.com, DONNARICCARDO.
You have the double N's, the double C's right in the middle, right? That's how I remember it. I'm like, that's right. Yeah. 2 N's, 2 C's. You have to have your things, right? Because you don't want to spell somebody's name wrong if you have seen it repeatedly. I'm not an evil person, Tina. I do like people.
You said double D's.
Double N, double C's. Did I say double D's? I meant double N's, double C's. Sorry, I wasn't talking about your bra size. Goodness. Okay, so I have my Connect Summit.
I see it.
Coffee mug in 2 weeks. We are hosting our next Connect Virtual Summit.
I feel like we just did a Connect Summit last week.
Well, this year, when you're doing something every month, it's like, oh, there it is again. There it is again. There it is again. And this year is flying by. The Connect Virtual Summit. This is our health and wellness series. So we have 6 incredible speakers coming in just to talk about health, wellness, mindset, a lot about mindset, right? A lot of what is holding us back. All we have to do is look in the mirror most of the time, right? To see what is holding us back. But we've got an incredible panel of speakers talking about financial in your systems, media exposure, building online relationships. We have 4 different panels. We've got a whole group of speakers, and it's free to attend. You can sign up at connectvirtualsummit.com. That's connectvirtualsummit.com. It'll take you to our Eventbrite page. It is the last Wednesday of June, so June 30th from 2 to 7 p.m. Eastern time. We want to make sure that you guys all plug in and join us there. And then we're taking July off, and we'll get on a brand new schedule for the second half of the year. But this is kind of wrapping up this whole series that we've been doing since February. So connectvirtualsummit.com. Don't miss it. Grab your free tickets today. Go and sign up. And we give away lots of fun prizes, lots of great tips, lots of good,
big, huge prizes too. But you got to be in the Zoom, registered, and online too.
Yeah, you have to be present. Like every speaker gives away a really juicy gift. So one lucky person who has pre-registered and who is in the room when we draw your name. So completely random, but completely fun. And then we do some networking throughout the event, like all sorts of fun stuff is built into the Connect Virtual Summit. If you've been to one, you know they are super fun, super engaging, and always full of fun surprises. And if you've never been, don't wait, sign up today and join us for the Connect Virtual Summit on June 30th. I am, of course, working all summer long. We've got 12 different authors we're working with this summer to help them to publish their next book all on one day. Like we're all like step by step going through this process. And Donna is right in the middle of that, right? We're still pulling together all of the content, but the goal is to everybody will publish on the exact same day. And then we're having a fun bestseller campaign party at my house at the end of August. So we are right in the middle of that. Very exciting. And I have my whole like list of things that I've got coming up.
You're doing a 3-day workshop thing today and tomorrow, aren't you?
Yep. Right now we're in the middle of a 3-day webinar series called Get Clear, Get Unstuck, and Get Noticed. And that is today at 3:00. Oh, it'll be here live on Facebook. Right. We're doing a retreat at my house, the Get Clear, Get Unstuck, Get Noticed 3-day retreat in August. And so all sorts, like we are not letting any sand get in my toes. I don't know. We're not resting up. But how do you play with us? Go to makeyourbigImpact.com, makeyourbigImpact.com, and download my starter kit, my media kit. Great tips on how to get exposure in front of the media, get those media interviews, create publicity for your brand, your business, or your book. And it's complimentary at
makeyourbigImpact.com.
I know I just bought a new URL because my new book is coming out this summer, right? And it's all about getting discovered. And so I bought getdiscoveredclub.com and I pointed it to my freebie. So if you want to get discovered, right? We want to be findable. You also want to be discoverable, and we help you to get discovered. So
I love finding like awesome URLs like that. Like I'm like, oh my gosh, it's open.
That's a great URL choice. That's a great choice.
Like, I love it. When I found Mastering Your Follow-Up that it was open, I was like, oh my gosh.
Yes.
I got like mastering your follow-up, mastering your sales, mastering your social media, mastering your mindset. I like bought them all.
We got all of it, and it was all available. Right? That was amazing.
Available.
Yeah, I got the Get Discovered Club was open. I'm like, oh, well, all right. I guess that's a good sign.
I'm Tina Torres, your client retention expert, otherwise known as the gratitude specialist. We talked about gratitude all day long today. Talked about that mindset, online relationships, doing all that kind of stuff. You can grab your free 5-day master course by going to masteringyourfollowup.com. You get a 5-day access to my master course. It's, every single day you'll get a new thing on how to build relationships online, how to get those relationships offline, and how to turn them into clients. You can go to masteringyourfollowup.com. angelandtina.com, my awesome URL that I bought. Thank you guys so much for joining us today. We are Angel and Tina on the Angel and Tina Morning Show. Come to you live every weekday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. We will see you guys tomorrow.